Today I want to introduce you to another form of Irish crochet lace called Bebe lace. So in translation it's baby lace. I think it dates from before the type of crochet that we associate with Irish crochet lace now, with motifs and so on. I think it's the very beginning of that form of lace making, because when you look at it, you can see traces of much earlier lace forms which weren't necessarily crocheted. It's a very delicate form of lace, and traditionally it's made with very, very fine thread. So they recommend that you use thread that's 100 or smaller, so 120, 140, although I'd think it'd be very hard to find it. And you also use a 0.4mm crochet hook. I decided to start experimenting with this because I want to make a christening gown, and I gathered whatever patterns I could and started experimenting with hook sizes and thread sizes, and I found the patterns very, very confusing, and very often you start the pattern and you just can't make head nor tail, and you end up getting stuck. So what I did, I taught myself to design the pattern myself. So if you look at this top bit, this edging, when I tried to understand the pattern, I just used to get stuck and I couldn't finish it. But I resorted to looking very, very carefully at the photographs and then trying to figure myself out how to make it. I think the reason is that the people who wrote the books weren't the people who were making the lace, and trying to transmit a piece of work like lace into written word is quite complicated. There are so many different rows, so many rows that resemble each other, that you end up getting stuck if you're not a lace maker yourself. As you can see, the lace is based on a central motif and then picot lace around it. Even here, there's a central motif and picot lace, and in these scallops the same thing. Another thing that's important in Bebe lace is the edging, and another form that's called inserts. You can slip a ribbon behind this, so you sew it onto a material and then you can either slip a ribbon behind it, or else you can just use it for decoration. As you can see, I've tried various forms, so that's one form of the square. This is another one. It's slightly different. These bars are different, and the bars are very important in the lace because they help you expand your lace, make your rows bigger. So the main difference between this and this, first of all, is the motif, and second of all is the way you go from one row to the next. I'm going to show you how to make the motifs. So I'm using three principal motifs. I'm using a rose, a shamrock, and a little wheel. So I'll be using those three motifs throughout the work. I'm going to show you how to make those central motifs and how to work the lace after that. So you will be independent in making this yourself. So once you understand the principle, how it works, how you go about it, and you'll be able to make a square or a scallop or a circle. So I hope you enjoy this series of videos. This is a small little sketch. I'm not a very good drawer of what I think the dress will look like. So there will be a plain top with picot lace at the top. There'll be a row of scallops over the shoulder and round the front and the back. I'm thinking of a piece in the middle with a Celtic knot design. Then there'll be a long skirt with scallops at the bottom, so that's this form of lace, and these two lines will be inserts. I might be inserting more inserts like that at the back, so dividing the dress into strips, but I'm not sure yet. So basically this is just design on the go. The middle panel, I'm going to make a middle panel which will be more traditional Irish crochet motifs, and I'll be incorporating more motifs from the Manchester School of Embroidery and so on. I'm also going to add a lot of shamrocks. But the difference is I'm not going to crochet them together with bars. I am going to actually sew them down. So it'll be one big piece of lace with each motif joined to the next one. This is going to be the baby hat. So I'll just put my hand on so you can see the size. So I made 3 roses and a shamrock, and this will be at the front, at the top, so it'll just fold back. This will be the back of the hat. These two will be the sides, and it'll just be a very plain little cap. So it's not too difficult to achieve. It's not going to be very difficult to make this little hat, but I think it will look nice. Again, I have to buy material to make the christening gown itself, and I'm designing it from scratch. And again, I have the same problem living in a small area, in a small rural area in Ireland. There are no shops that sell the kind of material I'm looking for. You can find those shops in Cork and you can buy online, but you don't get a real feel for the material. I checked the shops in Cork and they haven't really got any material that I would consider suitable in. I'm also quite particular of what kind of material I want. I do want it to be high quality. So again, what I did, I went to my local charity shop that's run by volunteers in my town, and I bought a First Communion dress. So this is a little First Communion dress. As you can see, it's marked on the top, and it looks as though it's fake tan, so I think it might be very hard to get out. And it's just a plain little dress with a kind of shantung silk top, a bit of lace on the bodice, and then the skirt. The top layer is a very, very fine gauze. It's very, very fine. The second layer is a heavier gauze. That's to give the dress more shape. Then there's a third layer, which is a very nice satin. It's very soft. Fourth layer is more stiff gauze, I suppose, to give the dress shape. And then there's an inner layer of more satin, so I'll have 2 full lengths of the satin and 1 length of the fine gauze. So my idea is to put the lace on this fine gauze. So my idea is to put the lace on this fine gauze and then make the christening gown out of this and the hat out of the satin and put it on top. So I'll be double lining everything and making sure there's no seams on the inside. I want to make a proper heirloom piece. There's no baby in mind, but I'm hoping that along the line some family will enjoy using this christening gown. So I'll be taking you along and making the motifs and showing you how to make the squares and the scallops and the inserts from scratch. And I hope you enjoy this. It's going to be fun.